Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me today. Uh, I'm calling in from Southern California in Irvine, where TGR Foundation's based, but I'm Vice President of Marketing and Communications for TGR Foundation. Um, I'm a Midwesterner by birth, Southern Californian for life at this point, and just enjoying the opportunity to talk more about marketing, my role, and where things TGR Foundation are heading.
Awesome. Awesome. Can you give us just a quick rundown on what the TGR Foundation is and what it
Yeah.
does, what it's all about?
Yeah, definitely. TGR Foundation is Tiger Woods nonprofit. So ultimately, he founded it with his family, with his parents, Earl and Tita, in 1996, right after he went pro. Very unique for a professional athlete of his stature, even at that age, at 20 years old, to be thinking long term and thinking philanthropically. So created the foundation. As we're nearing our 30th anniversary a year from now, which we'll get more into, I'm sure, later. But that now over the last 28 and a half, 29 years, we've really been focused on serving youth. Youth development has always been at the core, kind of building on the Woods family legacy of sharing and caring and paying it forward. But really, since 2001, the focus of Tiger's Foundation, of Tiger's, all of Tiger's philanthropic work is around education and supporting youth from under-resourced communities, giving them access and opportunities all around the education space. And, I think what we would say is we do education different. We aren't a charter school or trying to reshape, the lobby space of what education, how we do it. But we're a support system, a network, a resource to provide opportunities. We go into communities where there's high need. For the majority of our tenure, we've been here in Southern California, serving Anaheim in the greater Anaheim region, which is where Tiger grew up. We're right down the street from his high school, on the grounds of a golf course he grew up playing with his father, playing junior golf. And now we're in a major growth state where we just opened in Philadelphia in September, celebrated a grand opening with Tiger out in West Philadelphia through a partnership with Cobb's Creek and a beautiful golf course restoration there that has a lot of history and legacy with Charlie Sifford, the first African American to play and win on the PGA Tour. We're opening in Los Angeles, Augusta, Georgia, through a partnership with the Masters and Augusta National Golf Course, and ultimately, what the TGR Learning Labs are all about is their physically safe spaces, but also kind of emotionally and safe spaces. We bring the kids in after school during the school day and are giving them resources, giving them STEAM educational enrichment, giving them health and well-being resources, giving them college and career readiness programming, and all of these combined with that access to not only a tangibly safe space, but a community of support, really, we found lifts them up. We give them these opportunities and experiences that really help them change the trajectory of their life, set them on a path forward, and really have transformational change for them, their peers, their families, and ultimately, we believe, their communities.
Awesome. Awesome. So is it, just so I understand everything you guys focus on, is it an after school program, and how old are the students you work with?
It's kind of all the above, you could say. Like we do, you serve a lot of students after school, but we also offer school day programming. So we, which one of the things that make us unique. It was one of those things with Tiger and the leadership when they created this model for these spaces in early 2000s, was we're going to build this beautiful space. We're going to bring these kids in. The flagship location in Anaheim is 30,000 square feet. It's state of the art. It looks originally looked and felt very collegial. It still has that vibe, kind of infused with kind of modern workspace kind of culture too now, as we've renovated and reopened after the pandemic. Um, there and we had they had the foresight of, like, we're going to spend this money with donors, investments in Tiger's investment. We're going to have this space. We shouldn't just sit around and let it be empty 3/4 of the day and just bring kids in after school. So we've got a really unique model that sets us apart in this kind of support space where we work with our partner school districts. We bring kids in for field trips during the day. In Anaheim, based on what the needs of the community. We work with fifth and sixth graders primarily during the school day hours, bringing kids in for very immersive, fun, STEAM based educational programming. Like they do hands-on crime scene investigations to learn the basics of forensic science. So they do marine biology and learn kind of all about dissection and science and wildlife, things like that. And then the after school space, we have more what you would consider your traditional after school type programming, and kind of have it again kind of collegial style where kids come in to become members. It's all for free, but they can take anything anywhere from 30 different programs that we may offer at any given time, and they're 2 days a week over a 5 or 6 week period. So they're coming and they're learning, but they're kind of growing throughout, because it's not just a drop in, it's not just kind of a passive, it's very active learning. And you're taking things like a multimedia. We have a podcast studio in all of our labs. Kids are learning how to do your job here. So you better, beware. We have a podcast that students produce called the Lab Report. They're learning and using hands-on materials that are especially real world industry, grade materials. They're working with the Adobe suite to learn to edit video and to create music. We got science labs where they're doing dissection at an early age, and they're learning aerospace engineering and rocketry, and they're building robots and model cars, and all the learning is doing, and it's all fun, it's all collaborative, it's all team-based, and everything from those school day field trips to the after school time is infused with the "what do I want to be when I grow up" question. And it's not as directly answered as that, but as you're taking, I'm signing up for this podcast class or this aerospace rocketry class, we're infusing the career opportunities. We're helping them explore what is out there so that you can kind of connect the dots. Well, I like this, and then I want to maybe do that. Well, now here's what I need to do to do that. And then it's tied back to, well, I better do these things in school, make sure I'm getting the right grades, taking the right classes, thinking about higher ed if that's the right path, or maybe even trade, or what other kind of skill-based certifications you need, coding, other things of that nature that, to get you from today to where you want to be, and when you grow up. And it all is based around our mission is to empower students to pursue their passions through education. We like to say, we get you in through a field trip or maybe a one-day kind of after-school workshop or special event. Like last Friday, we just had an esports event. It's become an annual thing, very popular in Anaheim. The kids come in after school, and they're playing in it, esports competitions. But we then are offering, and they can sign up for our esports class where they can learn more about the gaming industry and learn more about career paths in the game. And we actually have video game design classes where you actually learn the programming and the tools to actually build your own game that you can then play when you're at the lab. And so all that is, you come in, you explore what you're interested in, you discover those passions, and then we're putting you on the right path and helping you kind of connect the dots to ultimately then what you can be and hopefully ultimately become in the future.
Mhm. Okay, wow. So you're essentially maybe opening these students' eyes to other possibilities and options, and inspiring them to, oh wow, you're super interested in esports, or you know, biology,
Aerospace,
encouraging
engineering, you
them.
name it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then helping and encouraging them to go down those paths.
Yeah. Yep. We want kids to explore. That's why we have so many different angles in the STEAM field. And for those who may not be familiar, STEAM is an acronym very popular in the education space: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. 20 years ago when we opened the Learning Lab, it was STEM. STEM was the buzzword. Yeah, it was without the arts, and we were on the forefront at the TGR Foundation and the Learning Labs investing in that. It was deemed important, and rightfully so, that careers of the future, and for America to stay competitive in all walks of industry, we needed the next generation to be equipped with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics skills. well, as things have evolved and the world is changing, arts in that, broader sense is very important. There's so many careers that kind of that's weaved into throughout. And so that's why we've invested in it. It's where kids have interests as well. That's why we've brought in every one of our labs has a state-of-the-art multimedia studio, as you mentioned earlier, as well as other things that you can do. We're blending those things. We have a maker space in every lab, and you're learning laser cutting and 3D printing and connecting the dots. So the kids make their own trophies for the esports competition using the 3D printer, and they're designing the trophy as well. So you're bringing the arts with the technology and the engineering. All these things kind of coming together. It's very less siloed these days, and really the STEAM letters are kind of all infused. And as these kids are exploring, they're finding out that at a much earlier age than many of us, myself included, what is it I really like? And then, wow, I could really think about doing this because, hey, when you're, let's be honest, when you're from an under-resourced community, you're from a school district that may not have as much money and resources, it's a public schools. You may be first generation, to be trying to get to college, or an immigrant family, that's come over, and those are all impediments. Not to say they're good or bad, but they're just realities in life. And so we want to help these students who are coming in and investing time to help them get a step ahead, or at least to get a step up to the playing field, and maybe some of their more affluent neighbors who may be going to have the access to the preps and the tutors and this and that. And so it's really about leveling that playing field to open those doors, create those possibilities, and help them really, as we say, unlock their unlimited potential.
Mhm. Awesome. That's incredible. Do you have, I imagine you said you've been around for 35 years. There's got to be
30, almost 30.
Oh, 30 years. Okay. There's got to be, tons of, great kids who are now adults. You guys have had a tremendous positive impact on. Do you have a favorite success story?
Yeah, there's many, and it's honestly one of the reasons, I've been with the organization 18 years now, and the impact and the kids, the mission is why I'm still here. I was wanted to be the next baseball GM as we're here in October in playoff season. I wanted to be out there trying to win a World Series, and I chased that path and had some cool experiences, and landed in this nonprofit space because a different piece of our business. We run professional golf tournaments, that ultimately Tiger Woods is host to, and they raise millions of dollars to support our cause, to support our programs. But over time, it was, wow, like having the impact is really what matters, and being close to the impact really what matters. And that's how my career has evolved to where I am today. And I say that in, like, there's so many stories that one doesn't do, isn't any better or worse. But for one example, there's a great story, a great student named Sammy. He's from Anaheim, grew up in that neighborhood, kind of immigrant families. He attended the lab at an early age, went through all the STEAM and STEM classes, really liked sciences, found a love for coding. He'll admit, that we offer kind of computer science, and coding really attracted him and really encouraged him to go deeper. He learned skills, learned more about it, understood what he needed to do to progress. Had the resources around to look into colleges. He ultimately, not only did he apply and get into Stanford, the piece we haven't touched on at the foundation, we have a scholar program as well. And it's called the Earlwood Scholar Program, named after, in honor of Tiger's late father. And it's a very wonderful scholar program, very hands-on. He was accepted into that scholar program. So he was able to go from our learning lab, go off to Stanford, be a part of the scholar program. And it's so much more than just financial aid. That's a piece of it, but we're providing each cohort with so many resources to help them, because if you're a first generation college student, you generally don't have a peer to turn to, or maybe a parent or a family member to turn to. You're oftentimes first time alone, off away from home, things of that nature. And so the dropout rates from college the graduation rates are significantly lower than the average American student. And so we've tried to shift that narrative, and we have, as our graduation rate hovers above 90%, recently around 98%, when the averages are significantly less than that. So Sammy, gone off to Stanford, obviously Tiger's alma mater. He was ultimately paired with Tiger and one of our senior executive leaders as his mentor, because every one of our scholars gets to have a mentor for 4 years, because at that point, you can't be what you can't see. And we want to try to pair you with someone that has some relationship, whether they're in a similar career, similar background, similar, path, to help you have a guide, a Sherpa, just a ear to lean on if you need it. So ultimately, you built this relationship with Tiger, was able to kind of guide him through college life at Stanford. He graduated computer science, just like he found that passion to at the lab. He's been working at Google in the computer science space. And pay title for Schuckle. He's got a younger brother who's attending our TGR Learning Lab in Anaheim as we speak, and he's also now, Sammy, a mentor to a current scholar because he's now paying it forward. And he's a professional now helping another kid who's off into college for the first time, paying it forward as one of those mentors. So it just shows you the cycle that we really want to build here. That we want not only great students and smart kids, but we wanted to build that mentality of paying it forward as well.
Wow, that's incredible. That's very inspiring. Um, we all know Tiger's brilliant on and off the golf course. I'm sure he gets this question from every kid, but I'm also very curious if he wasn't a golfer, what would be his passion?
He is a self-diagnosed science nerd. So
Okay.
it's why he put the stake down 20 plus years ago in 2001 that, like, I want to build these safe spaces. It's going to be about education, and then let's lean into STEM. Let's lean into the sciences. Let's make sure that we're leaning into where the careers and the jobs are at, because he loves it. So it's great. He was uh, at our ribbon cutting of our new facility, our new learning lab in Philadelphia last month. And, always around kids, he lights up. But then being in the lab, and like one of the students was teaching him to fly a drone. It just, like, he's just like he's a kid because he loves it. He's having fun. He just really geeks out on that sciencey stuff. We had a cool moment years ago, actually, with Sammy, as I mentioned, when he was still at Stanford, and Tiger came together and they were hanging out, and Sammy taught him how to code. It's called a Zero. It's like a robot ball kind of a thing, and it's a way to learn coding. And they did it on a golf course. And so Tiger said, golf and putting is part art, part science. And so he thinks of golf in the sense of science. How it's so much physics in that game of what club you're using and how you're swinging it, and the force and the angles and all those things that way go beyond me. I'm not a golfer nor a science geek by any matter. But he was loving it, and they actually, Tiger worked on showing him how to line up a putt and how to read the green and helped. And then he and Sammy coded the Zero, and it only took 2 tries, and they sunk the putt. And it was just such a cool moment of, just as he said, part art, part science, and goes back to how STEAM is just all comes together.
Yeah, wow, that's so cool. Awesome. Well, I want to definitely touch on your career and experience. How did you find yourself in the marketing arts, and was it the Cincinnati Reds that you wanted to be the GM of?
Not Cincinnati. I did grow up. I'm a Cleveland fan,
Cleveland. All right, that's
in
my next.
northeastern Ohio. Went to the Ohio State University, and worked for a minor league baseball team in Columbus, Ohio, called the Columbus Clippers. So that was where I got my first taste in marketing. I was a marketing major at Ohio State. Um, but the kind of the love of being a baseball player and having done some volunteer coaching and stuff really was like, I want to try to do this front office path, and it did a really amazing internship experience at the San Diego Padres, while I was getting my MBA in a sports business management, kind of a focused MBA program. and yeah, and just, yeah, great experience for a variety of reasons. It wasn't I wasn't getting the opportunity that I was hoping for, and you look back, and that was okay, because it's where I'm at today. I've got a great gig. I know I'm paying it forward. I'm making great impact. I'm able to be the family man. I want to be around my 3 little kids. All those things are important. But yeah, so I joined the foundation in 2007. We were launching a professional golf tournament in Washington, D.C. at the time, and was paying respects to the military, which is something also Tiger's very passionate about. His father was in the military, um, and so was in DC and helped with our team here to bring that event to life. and then worked on a number of amazing events that we have run over the years in professional golf and music and entertainment and luxury events to raise money for the foundation, and then have now for a number of years been really more focused on the foundation, and that brings us where we're at today, where we're really trying to grow the awareness of the brand, and not just because we want to be a household brand, it's because we're doing great impact, and we want more people to know about that Tiger's nonprofit, that TGR Foundation, is really making a positive impact in the lives of these students. We're really transforming lives. We're creating opportunities that are driving lasting change, and we're not just something we've been doing, but it's something that Tiger is pushing us to grow. He'll be the first to admit it. This is bigger than anything he's done on the golf course. As we all know, he's done amazing stuff on the golf course, but it's not lip service, and it's an authentic thing. He has said over and over again that this is his legacy. He wants this to be, just what he is driving such major change for the future, really in perpetuity. So we're expanding, opening learning labs in new markets on the East Coast, really looking at how we scale, how we grow, but do it right. Everything Tiger does is embodies excellence and precision. And so, we're taking it slow. We've got lots of opportunities, but we're opening in Los Angeles in 2027. In Augusta until in 28, and in talks for a number of other opportunities in the years after that. Our goal is to have 6 learning lab open, hopefully, in the foreseeable future, and see where it goes from there.
Mhm. Awesome. Awesome. So I'm curious, marketing is such a unique focus. I also am in marketing, so I feel your pain. Um, Marketing for a nonprofit, I think, is very interesting. Can you talk about, how you all market for the TGF Foundation, and who you market to, and how marketing is helping
Yeah.
drive growth?
Yeah, we have to wear 2 hats on my team and as an organization, because we're marketing to students. We want to get kids to come and attend, as while we do have school programs where they're coming in a field trip, as mentioned, or they don't really have a choice per se. Because it's, kids get go on a field trip and it's fun, but they're going because the school's taking them there. After school and weekends and evening events and programs are all opt-in. They're free, but the kids need to join and become members. So there's marketing to that, and then there's marketing from a brand standpoint. We want to reach like-minded, mission-aligned individuals and corporate leaders. We're spending a lot of time and energy in the workforce development space. Less workforce development, we call it career readiness. It's all the stuff we talked about earlier. It's one thing to teach a kid in the classroom. We want those real life experiences. So we're working with a lot of partners and executive leaders and business leaders to give tangible real life experiences. So how can we then bring you into a lab and or take our kids to you and touch and see and feel those things that they think that they want to do after attending the lab for a bit? Now you can actually go and do it. So that by the time you're getting towards the latter half of high school, you really understand what it takes to be that professional. You've hopefully gained some real experiences for the resume, some relationships, and you can do it. Or you're like, hey, this isn't for me. And I want to go and do something else now because I touched it and it's like, no, cool, but not right. So it's just spending very time and being very intentional on target audience, so that, okay, this, we got to do this, and we got to really make sure we're speaking to the students, or we're speaking to the donor. And we really spent the last year and a half creating that backbone through some very intensive brand work, really to define who TGR Foundation is as Tiger's nonprofit, and ultimately the parent company, if you will, that's a part of Tiger's for-profit entity, TGR Ventures, that owns his restaurant and his golf course company, and many other ventures that are part of Tiger's TGR. But then we're now creating really the TGR Learning Lab as a brand that's a consumer brand for the kids in the communities we serve. And so through extensive research with the students, with their parents, with stakeholders, with staff, with donors and board members, really trying to understand what it is that's kind of been our secret sauce, what they need, what's going to resonate. We explored countless new names, thinking maybe, let's create a really fun, dynamic name other than TGR Learning Lab, which is what it's been called for the last 10 years. And ultimately, got some great insight through that work that the TGR Learning Lab is a name that people understood and trust. They got there was some connection to Tiger. Learning and lab was enough to understand there's some sort of cool, maybe learning thing, educational things happening that was probably different than school, which was a good starting point. And then now we really spent the last 6 months, the first 6 months of this year, building a really cool brand visual identity messaging strategy around that name. So we're cemented. This is where we're building around, and in our core message is where life gains steam, and it's creating this a really cool, bright, and vibrant visual identity that is very youthful. The messaging is speaking to the students. It's using colors that are kind of, I guess, hinting to some of the what is old is new, kind of 90s-ish pop culture vibe, but we're not going overboard because we also want this to be something to build upon. We're letting student imagery stand out, using finding really creative ways that you'll see if you go to to our social platforms and websites, that how we can bring STEAM to life, where it's not just speaking to the kids or using maybe a photo of a kid, but also using fun, call them STEAM objects, so a light bulb or a shark head or a game controller, and kind of. So we're just really creating fun, vibrant design and messaging platform that's more useful to speak to these kids, and that's allowing us to be much more clear when we're talking to a potential donor or corporate partner to come involved. We've got this kind of voice, and when we're talking to the kid to come and become a member and really engage, we're very clear in how we're speaking to them.
Mhm. Awesome. Awesome. I would love to ask you one or two more questions. We are at time. Are you okay to go over a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That sounds awesome. Really connecting with the kids on a lot of levels. That's great that you guys are connecting with kids and making learning and STEAM cool. Can you talk about, like are you running Facebook ads? Are you engaging with school organizations, teacher organizations? Like,
Yep.
are you targeting parents with ads, or even other students? Like how do you get the word out? To
Right now with the students, it's a little bit very more grassroots is what's working, and we're thankful for that. We've got high demand and interest in the communities we're in right now. We what's key, because we really want to hit on the most under-resourced, if you will. And so even with the levels of detailed target marketing you can get in the digital space, we, as many communities, you've got a pocket here that can be a certain X demographic, and you turn around the corner, it can quickly change another demographic. And so we want to be mindful, because our programs are free and they're limited, because we want to have a low teacher-student ratio. We've only got what's called 6 classrooms in a building, as there's only so many kids we can serve, that we're really reaching the kids who need us most. And so in Anaheim, we learned there's really a 5-mile radius, while there's thousands and thousands of students in that area, and they all have some level of need. We narrow down the kids within a 2-mile radius of our teacher learning lab have the most need. And so a lot of it is right now school district partnerships really, really are powerful. Hosting kind of community events, which is a lot of direct mail. So, old school marketing still works, getting things tangibly in the hands of people. And in this case, their parents is valuable, and getting those materials there. And then we did take with that work around the Learning Lab brand effort I talked about. We then took a very intentional effort to really create individual brand identities. For years, we had everything kind of falling under TGR Foundation's website and social media. But all this effort has been last year, we're creating separate identities, which means you need separate channels. So now we have websites for each local TGR Learning Lab. We have Instagram channels for each local Learning Lab, and those channels allow us to speak more directly about upcoming programming and just to the current students and asking them to engage. And the parents and the students are being driven to their particular website that has very specific about what programs are available and what opportunities are available. So it's really hyper local, getting materials into the hands, flyers at schools, tabling at open houses, at back to school nights, all those things, direct mail, getting them to kind of come to a community event or kind of an open house, if you will, and then driving to the website to register where they're learning all about what's happening up their lab.
Mhm.
On the flip side, we're just starting into how do we ramp up digital marketing around the foundation to the point where we do want to be known that ultimately Tiger's vision for impacting lives is through his foundation, and we're making all this great work happen. And so we've been introducing these learning labs really are doing and how we're expanding through some digital, through the very generous Google Grants program to allow us to do targeted search, and we're really gearing up for 2026, which I alluded to is our 30th anniversary, and that we're putting together a big plan to have a new PSA and campaign that we can put out there in a much wider range, still very geo-targeted around the regions we're serving in Southern California, the Northeast, and going down now to the Georgia Southeast. And how do we reach those potential donors, partners, supporters to really get that word out of what we're doing?
Mhm. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I appreciate you going along with me. I have one final question for you. It's an open-ended question. You can take it in any direction that you like. You can answer it for yourself. You can answer it for the foundation. You can answer it twice for both.
Yeah.
It is the name of the show. The question is, what are you working towards?
Yeah, I'm for the foundation, for professionally working towards how do we really refine this local national strategy? This is new for our organization. While we're 30 years, we're a family foundation that is really getting our big boy shoes on now of like, okay, we're growing. We're bi-coastal with more rows to expand. And so how do we really structure, my team? Are we supporting the organization? Are we supporting these local labs so that they can grow and maximize as much impact as we can, because we can keep helping them fill the room, and then how can we tell the story and really capitalize to get hopefully the whole country to really see the impact to our 30th anniversary. So just how do we storytell and target market to get to the right people with the right message over the next year is what I'm working towards professionally. And but personally, just really trying to lean into my faith and trust in the Lord Jesus, and make me a great leader and a good father and a good parent. That this is the path and how I'm able to help others, and ultimately raise my kids in this crazy world to be hopefully good humans. Tiger said it best a month ago at a ribbon cutting. He said, I didn't start the foundation 30 years ago to make great golfers. I started the foundation to make great humans. And we're doing that through these TGR learning labs. And we just had a student speak before that he alluded to, who referenced that the learning lab became her second home in just 6 short months since we had started soft programming. And so, that's what it's all about. Creating great humans in my own home and in the homes of others that I can hopefully touch through my work.
Mhm. Wow, that's amazing and beautiful and awesome. And I'm very excited to continue watching your journey and TGR Foundation's impact on all the current and future communities. Where can my audience find out more about you and TGR?
Yeah, please visit tgrfoundation.org. It's like Tiger without the vowels, tgrfoundation.org. We're on all the social media platforms, LinkedIn, etc. But you'll learn all about what our programs do, how those learning labs work, and all of the growth that we have coming ahead.
Awesome. We will link all of those in the show notes. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time. This was incredibly inspiring and really just a good time. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Take care. All the best.
All right.
Bye.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in and keep on growing out there, everybody.